I understand from what the plaintiff has said is that she came to the office in January, perhaps on other occasions, and she spoke with Trooper Sandoval of the Middlesex Detectives Unit for the State Police. They have an office in our building at 15 Commonwealth Avenue in Woburn, but they're a separate agency. They're obviously, as Your Honor knows, the Department of State Police is separate from the district attorney's.
But they're assigned to your...
They're assigned to our office. And it may be, and I'm speculating now, that the state police conducted an investigation because it was a homicide. That's typically what happens, as Your Honor knows. They may or may not have records. I don't know, but we don't have any.
Have you seen the autopsy report?
I have seen nothing.
Because, as you heard Ms. Weems Rosenduff say, her memory is that she got certain reports from your agency.
Well, Your Honor, when you come into the DA's office in Woburn, there's one reception area for the whole building. And I don't know what happened that day. I wasn't there, but it's quite possible the receptionist called someone from the State Police Detectives Unit to come up and talk to
But
them.
I've never heard a district attorney's office take the position that they have no responsibility for the state police assigned to their office.
I'm simply pointing out that they're a separate agency, that's all, and it may be that the receptionist directed her to the State Police Detectives Unit, and she dealt with them. I don't know.
My suggestion, and it was my inclination before coming out here today, is that we're not at the stage where a motion to dismiss should or needs to be argued. And the first issue is making sure that Ms. Weems Rosenduff has people at the agencies to communicate with in order to make sure that she is bringing her concerns to the public agencies in the proper way, like to sit down with somebody. You know, the DA's office might assign a victim witness advocate. What we essentially have is somebody who says, in 1993, I was 8 years old, and my father died on the streets of Lowell, and I'm wondering what happened. And it wouldn't be unusual for a prosecutor's office to assign an advocate and to formally assign people to review that and see whether there's anything the district attorney's office and the police or the state police would want to do. And that's, you know, before a civil suit is filed. And I can't tell the DA's office to do that, but, you know, they're in the business of serving the public. And so I don't think they're disinclined to have some more formal connection to you. I think if a public agency hears that what you want to do is to move your father's, you describe it as remains, I'll use your word, your father's remains, to a plot, you know, I think nobody would be opposed to that, I think, based on what I've seen. I mean, there might be reasons in some other cases, but I haven't seen any reason here. I'm not saying they're going to agree to pay for it, or they're going to agree to do any extra work on bones or DNA or anything like that. I'm not saying that.
In getting a bone sample, if the body is exhumed, and will agree with a court order to conduct X-ray testing of the skull, but we would have to rely if they can do it on the state crime lab, and we don't have an answer to that question yet as to whether the state crime lab could conduct such testing.
Whether they would be willing to?
On the DNA, well, I think it's both whether they can do it and whether they would do it. And unfortunately, although we seem like a monolith of the state, I don't represent the state police, so I can't.
I understand that.
I'm not in a position to answer that. So, but I just wanted to make sure the plaintiff understood. But we certainly are agreeing to do the testing that we can conduct at OCME.
All right. Well, knowing that the district attorney's office is not represented, I'm not obviously not going to make any ruling that affects them, but I will make a comment that might be something that ADA Blatchford could assist everybody with, is what would the crime lab's capabilities and responsibilities be. And by capabilities, you may be aware of this, Ms. Weems Rosenduff, or it may be new information, but there is a Massachusetts State Police crime lab that conducts all sorts of different testing, including DNA testing, but there are different types of DNA testing. And there's some DNA testing that the crime lab is certified to do, and there's some that they're not certified to do. And so the first issue would be, is the crime lab capable of doing the type of DNA testing that's required? And the second issue is it their obligation to do it? Is the DA oversees the investigation of homicides or suspected homicides. The medical examiner has that important role, but limited role, of conducting the autopsy and making certain findings, but they're not responsible for figuring out what happened or who was responsible for something. That's the DA's office and the police. So that's why, I mean, AAG Kolb certainly has the ability to communicate with the state police and the state police crime lab, but that's not really what the medical examiner's office does. They don't investigate the whole case. And so the next step of DNA would be more the DA and the state police deciding whether further investigation is warranted. Cases you've had, what date do you think makes sense, or what time frame should we be aiming?
Well, my due date is December, so I don't know if we can do before or after.
And what is expected in December?
Oh, I have a baby.
Oh, congratulations. Congratulations. See, as a judge, I don't delve into the personal lives of for me.
So I don't know how Zoom or inability I'll be in December, so I don't know if we can do before.
All right, so I'll be in Boston presiding over criminal cases, so this is routine. Judges change every 3 to 6 months. So the next judge you have, you might have another judge the next time. So, but we're all Superior Court judges responsible for executing and handling these cases in the same way.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Any objection from the district attorney's office in me allowing a court order for her to move her father's body?
No objection.
Any objection from Lowell?
No objection, Your Honor. The only thing we object to here is paying for it. We don't.
Well, I'm not asking that one yet.
We have no objection whatsoever to her exhuming her father's body.
Any objection from the chief medical examiner's office?
No objection.
Okay. If you can get me the right order, I don't have a problem signing it. That's what you deserve. I mean, you should be able to move this person to a rightful resting spot. And if you can get me if I have the power, no one's fighting me on it. If I have the power, I'll sign it and you can have it moved. Or anything like that, okay? This ruling is based on the court's concerns for a family that just wants to get this person moved. And I think it should go forward without further intervention of the court. But if the court is required to intervene, I will. Okay? 30 days.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes.
Just give me one moment.